What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to a subscriber, long-time subscriber, the brother Tomiko, with the $10 donation via the PayPal. Leaves a note saying, "What's up, Too Raw? This your boy Tomiko. About your Greek school workers video, bro. They couldn't even beat the Dream Team's bench team of Stockton, Drexler, Pippen, Malone, and Robinson. LMAO makes you want to say, one of these days, LeBron. One of these days. Bah! Right in the kisser." Keep coming up with this excellent content, homie. Real motherfuckers know what's up. Yeah, man. I think a lot of people don't know about that. About the fact that that team, that FIBA team, lost to a bunch of, how do you put it? Nobodies? Nobodies. See, Nick Ryan ain't gonna talk about that. Shane Sharp not gonna bring that up. But much respect to you for showing love once again, man. I truly appreciate it. So a lot of people, including myself, had big problems with Anthony Davis being in that top 75, technically top 76 list. All right, I think the last two guys were like a tie or something. But when I first saw the list, for some reason I didn't even notice Anthony Davis's name was on the list. I think it was because I wasn't looking down. It wasn't like a list that went like from one down. It was like spread across, like in rows. So for some reason, I missed his name, Anthony Davis, and I missed Dame Lillard being on the list. But believe you me, when I saw Anthony Davis' name on that list, I was like, that's some bullshit. Okay? Now look, Dwight Howard was disappointing, right? He was disappointing in his career in a lot of ways. But as disappointing as he was, because he didn't develop into what we thought he could be, his overall career, to me, and to many people, is actually more impressive than Anthony Davis's. Even with him not living up to his full potential. Dwight Howard should have been, far and away, the most dominant center of his generation. He shouldn't be close. But he relied too much on his athleticism for too long. And also another thing that hurt Dwight Howard was that the center position, what was expected from the center position, began to change during his prime. So that hurt him. What was expected, the center position in 2013-14 was different from what was expected at the position in a vast way in 2008-2009. But another guy who believes that Dwight Howard has had a better career than Anthony Davis is former NBA coach and basketball analyst Stan Van Gundy. So Stan Van Gundy, and I'll put a link to this article in the pinned comment in the comment section below, said, quote, "To me, the only guys you could even talk about in this league at the time of Howard's peak from 2008-2012 were LeBron and Kobe. I think Anthony Davis is great, but at the time they selected the 75th anniversary team in 2022, it's not close. You cannot make a case that Davis has had a better career than Dwight Howard. That's absolutely ridiculous." I know some people be like, well, wait a minute. Isn't that guy in Taiwan right now, and AD's on a team that won a championship a couple of years ago? And you could argue that, wait a minute, AD won a championship as possibly the best player. He's definitely the best player that season and was the best player in that playoffs. He was the MVP of that Western Conference Series of the Nuggets back then. And probably would have won the award had LeBron not fucking stat chased and stat padded himself to get into the position to win that award in 2020, Finals MVP. And I get that. While ironically Howard was a role player on that team, I get that. And I get that argument for people who are saying, no, it should go to AD as the better of the two. But more importantly, look what Dwight Howard did as the man, the undisputed man on his team in Orlando, versus what Anthony Davis did as the undisputed man with the Pelicans. If I remember correctly, he played 8 years with the Pelicans organization, or was it 7 years? May have been 7 years. I think he played 7 years with the Pelicans organization and missed the playoffs 5 of those 7 years. Whereas Dwight Howard led a 59-win Magic team past LeBron and into the NBA Finals. A year that LeBron and company were supposed to go to the Finals. Now let's look at Anthony Davis's career. And you see that he won the championship in 2020. He's an 8-time NBA All-Star. In 2017, he was the NBA All-Star Game MVP. 4 times All-NBA First Team. 2 times NBA All-Defensive First Team. 2 times All-NBA All-Defensive Second Team. 2 times NBA All-Defensive Second Team. 3 times he's led the league in blocks. He was on the All-Rookie First Team in 2013. 75th Anniversary Team. And those are his NBA accolades. All right. And of course, he won Olympic gold in London in 2012. And the FIBA gold with the FIBA tournament in Spain in 2014. Now, Dwight Howard's accolades as an NBA player: NBA champion in 2020, although at that point in time he was a role player, but he was still a valuable role player. 8-time NBA All-Star, 5 times All-NBA First Team, All-NBA Second Team in 2014, twice All-NBA Third Team, 3 times Defensive Player of the Year. Now that's big. To have 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, that's very big. 4 times NBA All-Defensive First Team, NBA All-Defensive Second Team, 2008, NBA All-Rookie First Team, 5 times led the NBA in rebounding, twice led the NBA in block shots, and won the Slam Dunk Contest in 2008. Those are his NBA accolades. Now, if you look at Anthony Davis, before I finish going to that, Dwight Howard won Olympic gold in 2008 in Beijing with the Redeem team. And bronze FIBA World Championship, that team I was talking about earlier, when the Lakers, when LeBron and company lost to a bunch of Greek sewer workers. But he did win gold in 2007, the FIBA Americas Championship. All right, so as far as his overall averages, Anthony Davis, 24 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 51.9% shooting overall, 30% from 3, 79.3% from the charity stripe, 100.3 total win shares, and a 27 career PER rating. Dwight Howard, 15.7 points. Now, clearly, Anthony Davis is the superior scorer. All right? Shooting the basketball, rolling the team even in their primes, range, you know, everything except for, I would say, dominance in the paint. And even with that, Dwight Howard never developed as far as his skill set in the paint, but he was very dominant in the paint. So technically, because AD don't like to really bang down low, everything outside the paint, Anthony Davis excels in. 11.5 rebounds, 11.8 rebounds, excuse me. Dwight Howard was a superior rebounder. Not to say that Davis is terrible, because he's not, but Dwight Howard was the better rebounder. 1.3 assists. Anthony Davis, by default, is the better playmaker, but neither of those guys really have been charged as being the playmakers for their respective teams. And Dwight Howard's prime was in a different era, slightly different era. All right. Effective field goal percentage, 58.8%, 58.7% field goal percentage. That's indicative of the fact that Dwight Howard was a dominating power player in the paint. 21.4% from downtown. Not a good free throw shooter at all. 56.7%. 141.7 win shares. That's to Davis's 100.3. So that's indicative of the fact that Dwight Howard's teams have generally won a bit more overall than Anthony Davis's teams. And but PR rating only 21.3. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that he wasn't a big scorer. Now, averages really help Anthony Davis, but when you look at cumulative totals, that's where Dwight Howard has a big advantage. Now, as his career progresses, Anthony Davis could conceivably catch up and surpass Howard, but right now Anthony Davis, 15,841 points. All right, Dwight Howard, I believe, has 17,000 career points. No, 19,000 career points. 19,485 points. So the guy that's not noted as a scorer has a 3,500 point lead or something like that. Somewhere in that range. 6,865 rebounds. Dwight Howard, 14,627 rebounds. Anthony Davis, 1,527 blocks. Dwight Howard, 2,228 blocks. I mean, Dwight Howard just has a monstrous lead in a lot of categories statistically. So overall, man, yeah, I have to agree. I don't think that Anthony Davis is a top 75 player. But you know what's interesting, though? Technically, I don't really have Dwight Howard's top 75. I have him borderline. Now, if you have him, say, 70 to 75, I can see that. If you have him like 74, 75, like right at the very bottom of the list, then I really can see that better. Because I actually have him right outside of that range, Dwight Howard. He's right outside of that range. Like, I think I have him like to me, he would be like 80, 79. Like, he's right outside of that range. Anthony Davis, to me, is more of a just inside the top 100 player right now. But top 75, 76, technically, I wouldn't have that. But then again, like I said, that's just my opinion. Your opinion may be different. Tell me what you guys think.